1,000,002, 1,000,003.
What is up, guys? Candace B here. Thank you so much for coming to my channel. Welcome back to my subscribers and welcome to my new ones. I hope you guys had a good weekend. Where I live, it is super gloomy. The skies are gray because winter is pretty much here. It's so sad. I don't know why Canadians are always shocked whenever winter comes around, but it is still a shock, okay? It's cold. Jeez, it's stupid cold. But anyways, I am back with another market outlook, Forex analysis, whatever you want to call it, just preparing for this upcoming trading week ahead. And I traded both GJ and EJ this week. I know I mentioned that I was going to look at both and see, but yeah, and as you can see, my charts are still marked up. Usually I do my top-down analysis, I have my clean charts, and I kind of mark it up from beginning to end, but I was just like, you know what, I'm just going to leave it on and kind of see what happened with market structure and how that might translate into this upcoming week. As we prepare for that. So yeah, that's what we're going to do today. And as a disclaimer, of course, how I look at the charts, how I interpret it, whatever the case may be, it is all just from my point of view, my opinion. I'm not giving out signals. I'm not telling you guys to trade what I trade. I'm not even telling you guys to listen to me. I'm just simply sharing my thought process and just kind of my perspective of things when it comes to the market. So that's just what it is. But that being said, let us look at these charts. Starting on GJ as usual, just gonna go down to where we were last week. So we were analyzing this area here and we saw that price had came down to this area and reversed, and then it started entering this kind of consolidation, this I guess this range area. And when I mapped it out, I had mapped out this channel here and I went lower, we saw this consolidation area. So I was just waiting for price to, break to the upside or to the downside. And because of the Pfizer news that happened early Monday morning, as you guys can see, we broke to the upside. November 9th, that was Monday, right? Yeah, that was Monday. So with the whole vaccine news, we broke to the upside. So I took one trade on GJ and then I took 5 trades on EJ this week. So 6 trades in total. I don't know, for whatever reason, I just focused more on EJ. I just liked the way it was moving last week. And so I was keeping an eye on GJ, but I wasn't really invested into it, even though it's still my baby. But yeah, this is the one trade that I took here, and I actually took it Sunday night going into Monday morning. And really the only reason why I took that is because I saw my move happening. So when I go down to the lower time frames, I'll show you guys just what I saw. So we saw the consolidation. I was just waiting for a breakout to the upside or to the downside, but it looked more plausible that it would go to the upside. So we saw that breakout, I saw that break, and I saw a close above, and then I saw a candle come back on the 30-minute and retest this. So I was using the lower time frames just because I was more so wanting to scalp it. I knew that after that happened, that there was a good chance that it would at least come up to this this channel, the top of this channel that I drew. So when I saw that bullish candle close with a strong body, and then I saw a bearish candle close and it had a lower wick, then I knew that, we were going to push up for a little bit. So I did enter here and rode it all the way up, and my stop loss was just below here. My stop loss I usually put below the low of the previous candle, below the low of the previous candle. It's like a tongue twister. Yeah, so my stop loss would have been just below this low, and then I just had my take profit up here. So once I saw that price was pushing up, I of course put my stop loss at break even, and price hit my take profit, and that was kind of that. So as you can see, that happened before the Pfizer news happened. And I was actually pretty happy that I was out of the markets by then, just because even though, yeah, it shot up in my direction, had I not had a take profit, had I just had my stop loss, I still would have been stopped out right before it shot up. And from a psychological standpoint, I can only speak for myself, I would have been annoyed, to be honest. I would have been kind of cheesed that, that it hit my stop loss and then it went in my direction. I know that's happened to so many of us multiple times before. And just think of how you felt when that happened. When you did your analysis, you have your stop loss in place and you're like, you know what, this is a good amount of space in terms of market structure. This is a good area to put my stop loss. And then all you see is price just boom, hit your stop loss and then go in the direction that you wanted it to go in. It sucks. So in this case, I was very happy to have gotten in before and to have gone out before this all happened, just because this is crazy, you know, this is just insane when this happened. Nobody knew when it was going to happen. Nobody knew that it was going to happen at all. And they announced it literally like 5, 6 in the morning, before the markets were even open, before the stock exchange or anything was open. So it was just kind of crazy that that they did that way, but obviously it was intentional. And so that was the only trade I took. After that, this all happened, I was like, okay, let me just chill and see what price might do. So that's what I did. I just waited and just watched. And so yeah, as you can see, when price pushed up here, it just started kind of creating higher low, higher high structure. And then it started to cap out here, started to exhaust, and it started to fall away. So obviously whenever something like this happens, whenever a huge impulse move happens, there is going to be some sort of correction. And I'm on the daily right now. Sorry if I'm moving through the time frames pretty quickly, but I'm just going through it. So yeah, so as you can see, price did eventually come back down to this area at the end of the week, just to retest it. So now this is where we're at pretty much. So if we go down to the 1 hour, just to kind of build some confluences to see what might happen this coming week. So we see that price pulled back, it exhausted here, and we have essentially a double bottom, because when price came down here the first time, it pushed off very strongly, but then it came right back down a second time, and then it pushed off again. So from a 1 hour perspective, that is looking like a double bottom, and there's a chance that, you know, this might be an indication that price might start moving up to the upside. And then if I go down to if I go up to the H4, I just want to see what it looks like, just because the higher the time frame, the stronger the structure. So when we go down to, or go up to the H4, we see kind of the same notion, of course, and we see that there was this candlestick that formed bullish with a lower, huge lower wick, and I don't know what it's called, morning star, evening star, afternoon star, I don't know what it's called, but pretty much that's what I see, is this strong rejection, a very clean rejection at this area. So this goes to show that this is a support zone of some strength, and then as you can see, the last candlestick of the week was a bullish doji. So very curious to see if price is just gonna, you know, follow this momentum to the upside, but we don't know, especially with just different news happening, different things happening. Curious to see if we're gonna push to the upside or gap or whatever the case may be. I'd be waiting for some sort of further confirmation that we're moving up. Let me go to the daily and see. So with the daily, we do see a bit more cleaner structure, just because there's less candlesticks, of course. So we see that push up, and we see an exhaustion, and then we see a bullish doji right at this zone, right at this area, where if you look left, I'd look to focus more on current price action, but just to build up a story for looking left, we see that price has tapped this area multiple times as some sort of zone. So the fact that it came back down here and it rejected it and it formed a bullish doji, this can be, you know, confirmation that we might be going to the upside. So if I saw something along the lines of this, you know, a close above the candlestick and it's bullish, then on a Monday, so like let's say this is the Monday candle, then for sure I would feel like we would be going to the upside. So I would be looking at the lower time frames to see where I can get in. But yeah, if we were to go down, the only thing that I'm concerned about is that we didn't come back to, I don't know if we've come back far enough in terms of retest. So there is a chance that price, let me go down to the 4 hour. There is a chance that price can still come back and come back down to this area before it moves back up, or, you know, continues down, or whatever it wants to do. But there could be a chance that price does break this area. So if it does, I would just simply be waiting for some sort of little pullback here and then take that sell. So it really just depends on what price wants to do, and just reacting to it instead of predicting where it wants to go. I want to react to it. So obviously you're gonna, have your idea mapped out, and then you react if you see it. That's basically what I personally like to do. That's how I like to trade. But yeah, I just found it pretty interesting how price just broke out so strongly with that news, and now it's exhausting. So it's pretty basic market structure actually, if you look at it, because it's just following these areas. For price to have come back down to this area, it makes sense because this is a familiar area to price action. So it's going to come back down to where it's familiar with. But yeah, so we'll see what happens this coming week. But that's pretty much what I'm looking for in terms of if I were to buy or sell. So just to go back in terms of buys, I would want to wait for some sort of bullish candlestick to close up here. Because if price closes up here and it breaks this area, then there definitely is a higher chance that it'll want to go up for sure. But I would want to wait and see if, on Sunday, Monday, price can push up to this area. If it can't, we just wait. Because if I were to rush and get into a buy here just because, I see this movement, yeah, I can push up, but where am I going to set my stop loss? If I were to get in, and that's how I kind of think, like, okay, price is here right now. If I were to set my stop loss, that's 50 pips. I don't want to set a 50 pip stop loss. And where would my take profit be? If my take profit is here, let's say, that is a 1-to-1. But if you think of it this way, if price is ranging here, let's say it's going like this, wouldn't it be better for price to come down here first, bottom out, and then wait for the buy? Wouldn't that make more sense? Because if that happens, then my stop loss would be tighter, because I would have a stop loss just like right under here. So it'd be like a 12-15 pip stop loss. And then my take profit gets larger as well. My take profit becomes an 80 pips take profit. So I feel like that would look better. If I see this setting up, if I see price come down here and there's confirmation that, it wants to push back up, we see wicks, we see bullish candlesticks forming, and I take that buy, then there is a good chance that price can come back up here. There is a good chance, because now that's a third touch, 1, 2, 3 touches on this zone. And if we look to the higher time frames, this is also an area where when it's been touched, it's rejected. So this would be good confluence that price may want to sustain that level and push to the upside. So I'm just thinking out my thoughts. It would make more sense for me to get in on a buy here as opposed to get a buy here, just because the risk to reward makes more sense to me. And then, like I said, with the sell, just wait for a break, if anything, and a retest, and then, push down, and then use this kind of as my take profit area, because there's no traffic to the left. This is just clean traffic. So if price is able to close below this area, then there would be a higher chance that it would just kind of come back here to where it was before. But we'll see. So those are my ideas when it comes to GJ. Let us go to EJ now. So on EJ, I remember last week I was mentioning how we were here, I believe. Yeah, we were here. And I was mentioning how, there's this area here that price has tapped a few times. Again, just following market structure. And then we noticed that price was kind of hovering. It was kind of pushing up more. It wasn't following this area where it came up here and it reject. It came up here, reject. And then it came up here and then it didn't reject. It just started slowly pushing away. It wasn't as big of a rejection as it did in the past. So I was thinking just with that market structure that there was a chance that, if there was enough news, a strong enough news event, that we can push to the upside. And that's exactly what happened with the whole Pfizer news. That was a very, very strong news event that caused price to break above this area finally, that it's been kind of gravitating since the beginning of November. So when I look down on the 1 hour, this would have been a great trade. I was in the GJ buy at this point, so I wasn't looking at EJ, but obviously EJ and GJ, they're gonna, mirror the same idea. GJ is just a bit more volatile, but EJ it'll be the exact same thing. They both move pretty volatile. But if I go down to the 30-minute just seeing this here, you know, we see the break of the structure, we see a close above, we see these bullish candles, and then we see the bearish retest. This would have been a perfect area to get in, you know, putting your stop loss just below here, and then, you know, that that take profit would have been at your own will wherever you want it to go. But yeah, if I'm just gonna draw out here 20 pip stop loss, and then, you know, whatever risk to reward ratio, let's say you do like a 1-to-3, this would have been amazing, an amazing trade. You would have gotten, that would have been literally an hour, 30 minutes for you to have taken your profits. But this happened, nobody was expecting this. It happened before, you know, the stock market and whatnot was open, so obviously they did that on purpose, but it was just a huge shock. So anyways, so I saw that happen. Like I said, I was in a GJ buy before this all happened, and then after that I just watched it. But from there, I was in some trades here on EJ. So in total, I took 6 trades this week, 1 on GJ, 5 on EJ. And with EJ, there were more, so quick scalps. My focus was to reduce the amount of trades that I was in this week. But yeah, so let's see. So price had come up to this area here, and I had that mapped out. When I saw it kind of exhaust here, I drew this zone here. And if we look to the left, we see that this is an area where price is tapped more than once. So it's kind of cool to see that down here we saw the 3 touches and then a break, and then up here we see a higher time frame zone doing the same thing, 3 touches. And like I always say, like I've repeated multiple times, you know, the higher the time frame, the stronger the structures. So even looking on the daily, we see it very clearly that this is a very strong resistance area where when it's tapped it, price has literally fallen, it's plummeted before. So that was no different this time. So when I go down here, so we see that price had come to this area and exhausted, and then it started kind of ranging. It started kind of pulling back, as it would do, you know, what goes up must come down. It started to do that. So I guess the interesting thing was that even though this pushed up so strongly in literally one 4-hour candle, you did not see another 4-hour candle just push right back down. Instead, you saw the strong push up, and then you see, you know, it's slowly pushing down, kind of creating a downward channel. So that's interesting because that might be indication that price might be wanting to push back up at one point, but we'll see. When I go down to the lower time frame, so the first trade I took here, I'm just going to quickly go over them. It was a small scalp. I literally have to go down to the 15 to see it. Yeah, it was like super small. I took a sell just because I saw these exhaustive candlesticks happening, and I saw this area here, so I thought that price would want to come back down to this area since it wasn't really forming very strong candlesticks. But I ended up getting out pretty quickly once I kind of saw the bulls coming back in. I was in more of a profit here. I don't know if you can even see. I was in more of a profit here, but then obviously my take profit was bigger than this. But once I saw these candlesticks forming, I just got out. So it was a really small scalp. And then my bias kind of started to change. So as price kind of started going on, you know, this is Tuesday now, my bias started to change, especially when I started to see more movement to the upside and more movement away from this area. So as you can see, price started to move away from this area. So I did take a buy here, and I got out. I was in more profits. I was in profits here, but then it came back. So I secured my profits and exited here. And that was pretty much just that. Just kind of playing this area, just, you know, seeing the rejection, taking the buy, whatever the case may be. When this time came around, what day was November 11th? November 11th was the Wednesday. So this is Wednesday now. So this is a loss because I kind of jumped the gun here. I saw that price again was now pulling back to this zone here. So then I was thinking, okay, well then we're bearish, you know, we're going bearish, we're creating lower highs, lower lows. I should have waited for higher time frame confirmation, but I was kind of just going off of the lower time frames, you know, the 30-minute, the 1 hour here, because to me, like, I'm looking at this like, wow, this is super bearish. And the fact that this was a huge bullish move, I was assuming that it was just going to completely correct itself and kind of go back down to where it wanted to go, or to where it kind of had broken out of before. So I did kind of jump the gun and took a sell at a support zone. So that's like a no-no. That's like basic 101. And obviously when I reviewed my trades, I saw where I went wrong and how, that could have been prevented. So got out easily there though. Obviously my risk was in place, managed my risk, and that was just that. And then I waited till the end of that Wednesday just to see if there was any other opportunities. When I started to see that price was kind of ranging in this area, I was assuming that, this level was sustained. We have this bullish movement, and then we have, small bearish candles. So I assumed that we're going to be pushing up. I was expecting us to be pushing up just because these wicks here were indicating to me that we wanted to push up. So I did take a buy, but I got stopped out. Price pulled back here, and it did end up pushing up later on, but I wouldn't have wanted to hold that drawdown. I did take one more trade here. This was on Thursday. I did not trade Friday. This was on Thursday, and it ended up being a break even. I did take a sell because pretty much this is the trade that I should have waited for. I should not have been in these trades. I should have waited for this trade, just because even though it ended up break even, this is more so what I trade. So a break of the structure, a break of the zone, and then a retest. So because of the fact that price had broken down, let me go down to the 30-minute to see if it looks a bit more clear. Why do I keep doing that? Yeah, so I see a break of this zone. We see kind of lower high, lower low movement, and I entered with the momentum, and yeah, I was in some good profits, but this was overnight. This is like 11 p.m. Going into 11 p.m. Wednesday going into Thursday. So I was going to bed. I've been trying to go to bed earlier because I look like a zombie. So right before I went to bed, I set my stop loss at break even, and then it ended up hitting it. But this is more so what I would trade, a break of structure, and then, just following the momentum. But yeah, it ended up hitting break even. And then, so pretty much price is just ranging on EJ at this point. After just seeing that, I'm like, okay, yeah, price is clearly just ranging. If we look here, we can just see kind of that sideways movement. We do see that price at the end of the week started kind of breaking to the downside. So now preparing for this week ahead, just kind of seeing what might happen. I'm just going to get my little rectangle. So we see a rejection here. We see that price had come up, tried to break above it, but then it wasn't able to sustain, so it just dropped. And it did it again where it came up and now it just dropped. So I'm waiting to see if price will give us another confirmation to the downside. Let's say a bearish candle that closes, let's say below here, like a bearish candle that closes here, then that would be, indication that we might be moving to the downside. Again, looking left, just seeing clean traffic, just like GJ, seeing the clean traffic when we look to the left. And, that would make more sense if I were to see where I would put my stop loss and take profit. Stop loss above the previous H1 candle, and then take profit just right at this area, be kind of like a 1 to 3. Just seeing that would be feasible. That would make sense. So I'd be looking for that if I were to be looking for sells, but I would need to see price break below this area first to confirm that it wants to go down, because what would suck is, getting in early and then seeing price come down here, kind of fake out and then go back up. So yeah, just waiting for confirmation, bearish confirmation that we're going to the downside, and just clean breaks of candles, because once this breaks, then it would make sense that this would be the next area, this zone here where price had tapped multiple times before and where it had broken out of with the whole Pfizer news. For any buys, I don't know, I don't personally see buys right now. When it comes to buys, I'd probably be relying on the higher time frames more so. Sorry if my voice sounds groggy. I don't know if I already apologized, but yeah, my voice is like all over the place. But I would be looking to see if price can come back up into this area, close in this area. And I would be using this zone as where to take my, stop loss, where to put my stop loss. So if I'm seeing price closing above this area, just putting, you know, my stop loss right below this area, and then I can use this as a take profit here, or just kind of scale out. So I would be more so looking for sells. I'll be honest, I can't really see a buy opportunity right now, but I would want to wait and see if price gets back into this area. If it starts getting into this area and kind of having that movement to the upside, then I would start looking for buys, but then I would have to see where I'd want to enter from there. For sure, if I see price start to break above here, then you know, I wouldn't doubt that there would be some sort of push up, but it's not as clear as on GJ where you saw that for sure double bottom. This is more so like the bottom is lower than this, so it's still kind of a lower high, lower low structure to my eyes. But yeah, we'll see. I don't know, but I'd be looking more so for sells right now. If I don't see the opportunity, I won't take it. Again, I would just focus on whatever pair has the better setup, which in this case it might be GJ for buys if I see it, but EJ has a pretty viable sell opportunity, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, that's pretty much what I'm seeing. Just reviewed my trades, showed you my mistakes, what I did wrong, seeing market structure, what happened with the whole news that happened last week, and just preparing for the upcoming week as always. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have for you guys. If you enjoyed this video, let me know by hitting that like button. I ended the week being up 0.5%, which is great because 1, it's better than break even, and 2, it's way better than a loss. So I'm proud of myself because I reduced the amount of trades that I took. I did not trade Friday, but of course there's still a lot of learning lessons that I took from this week, a lot of little things that I can absolutely tweak. And that's really what this is about, you know, just learning from your mistakes, being able to be transparent with yourself and be honest and be like, okay, I did make this kind of little error. How can I learn from it? Comment down below. How are you preparing for this week ahead? Let me know. And last but not least, do not forget to subscribe so you know when I post another video. And in the meantime, feel free to check out any of my other videos on this channel and my other channel. But I appreciate you guys so much for stopping by as always. And I hope you have an absolutely amazing, amazing day, week, and life. Bye!